Zoe Battison, State Member for Ramsey, Gillian Aldridge, Mayor of Salisbury, Lisa Vlahos, Member for Taylor, Dr. Barry Oliver, President of the Adventist Church here in the South Pacific Division, invited guests, Grove Church members and friends. I hope I have included everybody. This is a very significant day, amen? For the Grove Church family and for the church here in South Australia. And as I've said to you before, I would like to congratulate you again and to thank you for your vision, for your commitment and for your sacrifice that many of you are making as you are now worshipping in this complex. You now have a permanent church home and you can really move into top gear and impact your community for God. And that I think is a very, very positive thing. I know that you already have wide, far-reaching goals with strategies already set in place for your church to continue to grow. You have already partnered with ADRA in the setting up of an op shop, which is just over here. You are also heavily involved in the Shepherd's Lodge program, a community meals program partnering with ADRA, as well as the church's youth department and also the women's ministries department. And I want you as Grove members to understand that this is very exciting. You're poised. Great things can happen. But also with this, I would like to remind you that you're not on your own. Because sometimes as you look at the task, it does seem difficult. It does seem just about impossible. But as again, I say, you are not on your own. Other churches, depending on their ability and on their circumstances, are doing the same as you. In South Australia, for example, you have a state church family of around 3,000 members, meeting in 30 churches and companies. In Australia, you have a wider family of around 60,000 church members, meeting in over 500 churches and companies, again, depending on their abilities and circumstances, doing the same as you. But there's more. It's a bit like the steak knife had, isn't it? You are aware that we have divided the world into 13 divisions, with our division called the South Pacific Division, and Dr. Barry Oliver is the head of that division. 425,000 members, meeting in over 5,000 churches and companies. These are all part of your family. This was brought home to me quite a few years ago at my first visit out to the Solomon Islands. I landed in a little plane, a twin otter, in the Western Province. And there the airstrip, and Barry has been there many times, the airstrip is just an island. So everyone gets out of the plane, you pick up your bags, and I was told to wait. And all the other passengers hopped on the boat, which went from the island to the mainland where the little town of Gizo is situated. But they told me to wait. So I waited and waited and waited. No one else is on this island. Never been there before. And finally I hear a putt, 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 and around the point comes a fiberglass open boat. And there at the back is a man with a very, very dark face, hops out of the boat. He looks at me with a great big smile. He says, "Hey, Pastor, is that you, my brother?" And I said, "I hope it is." Never met him before. But that man and I became instant friends, and we were brothers because we all have the same purpose in mind. And I was very happy to hop on that boat, and he took me across to Kukundu. So it's very encouraging to know that we here at the Grove are not on our own. There are so many other people doing what we're doing. And then we go to the world. And Gillian referred to a little bit of this before. And we discover that we certainly are not on our own. 136,601 churches and companies scattered around the world, situated in 209 of the 232 countries recognised by the United Nations organisation. From Finland to South New Zealand, from Brazil to India, from Alaska to South Africa. And in your world church family, you have over 17 million people. And when you take into account all those young people who come who have not yet been baptised and joined the church, it would have to be around 30 million people meeting Sabbath by Sabbath all around the world. You've got to say amen to that. Amen. This is part of our church family. So, we're not on our own. Our church is growing by approximately 3,000 members every day. God is blessing us. We have the second largest educational system in the world. We have the second largest medical set up in the world. God is blessing us in so many different ways. And here we are here in this part of the world, in Adelaide, Brahma Lodge part of Adelaide, and we have the same task to do. And with due respect to John Lennon, there is a heaven. There is a God. And our task and our job is to let people know of the hope that burns within us. There are so many people who are looking for what we have, who want to know what we know. As Adventist Christians, we believe that the second coming of Jesus is near, and this hope must continue to burn in our hearts. So I challenge you members here at the Grove to really go for it in the power and the blessing of God. Reach out to your communities and let them know that there is a God, and there is a God who cares and loves. Thank you.